That's awesome. Oh, that's so good. Oh, here, let's do one fun video. This is from Ted Nivison. I live like a morning routine influencer for 1 week. I
am terrible at waking up in the morning. No matter what I do, I cannot seem to consistently wake up and live the life that my caveman ancestors dreamed for me. Waking up with the sun, hearing the sounds of the birds, and going off into the wilderness with just a loincloth over my balls to pick some berries. Or expedite an extinction. It sounds like a dream. I am so terrible at waking up in the morning that I pay legal tender for an alarm app that forces me to do math in order to turn it off. Unintended result of that strategy, I've gotten really good at math while I'm half asleep. I started on easy mode and now I'm on hard. But I want to be better. Every time I've woken up in the early hours of the day, there's a certain sense of baseline achievement that comes with that. Like I'm not wasting my life away in bed and I'm getting up and changing the world by making YouTube videos. Which is why I became very interested a little bit more than a month ago when this influencer started blowing up all over the internet for his phenomenal morning routine, and his name is Ashton Hall. Ashton Hall is a fitness influencer who this year has morphed into a morning routine influencer due to the explosive popularity of his new content strategy, where he documents a minute-by-minute walkthrough of his daily routine starting at 3:52 in the morning, which is earlier than the birds are awake. Since he began posting these in January, he has gained over 12 million followers, the majority of that in the last 2 months. And people have been loving these videos, mainly because of how ridiculous and strict his morning routine is, with pretty much everyone on the internet making their own parody of his.
Yeah, he raced iShowSpeed, and iShowSpeed smoked him 4 times. And he kept demanding to race him over and over again, only to have iShowSpeed smoke him every single time, which is crazy.
Ridiculous routine, or other fitness influencers trying to follow in his footsteps. And as I was witnessing all of this unfold, I began to ask myself, well, how reasonable is a morning routine like this? Obviously it's not normal, but Ashton implies that he does this routine every single day. So surely that means as a normal guy, it is possible to do this every single day. So I challenged myself to live like a morning routine influencer for 1 week. Let's dive into what makes Ashton's morning routine so special. Day 191 of the morning routine that changed my life. 3:50 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. 3 a.m. to me seems like an almost mythical hour to be awake in. The only times I've had to use it in the context of being awake is for emphasis of pain. Like, oh, I gotta wake up at 3 a.m. in order to catch my 6 a.m. flight. I'm saying that to highlight how much pain I'm gonna be in. That it's a painful experience to be awake that early. Not because I'm enlightened or something, but Ashton's done it 191 times in a row, allegedly. Sin lives late at night. If you're dealing with a weak mind, bad decisions, or lack of productivity, go to sleep early. Sin lives late at night? That's a crazy thing to say when your routine starts during the literal witching hour. Sin lives late at night. You're in it. You're in the sin. You're drowning in sin as you brush your teeth. You're brushing your teeth with demons. Ashton then washes his mouth out with a freshly cracked bottle of Saratoga spring water. This water brand is a significant theme across Ashton's entire persona. You're never gonna see him take a lick of tap water. And then he goes outside to begin his very regimented pre-gym process, where he's out on his balcony, he does some very loud push-ups, sipping on that Saratoga, and then he heads downstairs to meditate for 2 minutes. That's how advanced he is at meditation. A Tibetan Buddhist monk might spend an entire lifetime to get to this level of effectiveness in meditation. For all intents and purposes, we could assume that Ashton Hall has reached nirvana. Then he does some journaling. I'm not sure what I would be able to journal about at 4:42 a.m. other than my toothpaste tasting a little bit more like sin than usual. Next, he does what I originally thought in my first watch through.
My red alert going off. What the fuck? Israel's getting bombed again? Bro, are the Iranian... is the Iranian guard watching? What's happening here? Round 4, they were like, oh, Hassan, he is now starting to watch Ted Nivison. Time to send the Shahed missile. Time to send in the Shaheds. Wake up. That's crazy. Nah, bad Persian accent is a Persian, sorry. It's like a little bit, it's like a bass boosted version of the Turkish accent. Anyway, let's just continue because it doesn't seem like the missiles have been hitting yet.
Through was his designated TikTok time, but that's actually just him watching sermons.
Be serious about the Lord's business.
Next up is one of the most critical portions of Ashton Hall's day. So critical that he does it twice in one morning, and that is the Saratoga Ice Water Bowl Facial. That's right. No tap water is allowed in any circumstances, ladies and germs. It'll burn his skin. It's like holy water to a vampire. He is a man of luxury. He cracks open a fresh bottle just to dunk his face in it. He doesn't even drink it. This was one of the parts of the routine that I was weirdly excited to see how it would affect me. I imagine if you're waking up that early in the morning, this is possibly the only thing that's keeping you awake. He's got to expose himself to Arctic temperatures so he enters survival mode just so he can keep going. After this, Ashton prepares to go to the gym, making sure to acquire shots of him putting on every piece of prohibitively expensive jewelry he owns, which, as we know, is incredibly important when you're going to the gym. He then starts absolutely blasting his thighs on the treadmill like a monster before heading out to the pool to engage in one of the most famous rituals of his routine that we shall call the time dive. Did you catch it? That's right. Ashton Hall was suspended in the air for 4 minutes while he was doing that dive. There are a lot of
guys. Scott Jennings is in Israel and he heard the booms. How many booms, Scott? New. Just heard air raid sirens and loud booms here in Tiberias, Israel. Didn't see anything. Oh my God. Iran knows Scott Jennings is in Tiberias. That's why they struck Tiberias. Oh my God. Oh my God, 5 big booms from Scott Jennings.
Theories on how this is possible. Some say the footage is sped up and he is floating in the air over the course of 4 minutes. Some say he manipulated the flow of time. Others say it's an editing mistake. I consider the merit of all of these theories to be equal. From there, Ashton returns to his apartment, he takes a shower, and then he eats a banana and then wipes the banana peel on his face. This is apparently some type of skincare routine. It remains to be seen if this is actually effective or if Ashton's just being a fucking weirdo here. Then Ashton sits down at his desk in a full suit and a mystery woman brings him his second ice facial, and then that mystery woman makes Ashton an entire full breakfast. And while he's waiting for that, he pretends to have like a conversation with a client where he delivers his most famous line.
So looking at it, bro, we gotta go ahead and get in at least 10,000.
Gotta be at least 10,000.
At least 10,000.
This is great because nobody really knows what this number is measuring. It could be money, but the possibilities are endless. He could be talking to his best friend and telling him how many kisses he's gonna give him the next time he sees him. All right, how many kisses am I getting?
At least 10,000.
Either way, by 9:25, his routine is finished, taking him a total of almost 6 hours. This means throughout the week, Ashton Hall spends almost 40 hours of that week just getting ready for his day. And it's also what I'm going to be doing. There's a lot more I'll go into about Ashton's content, but let's get prepared to try his routine. Beyond Ashton's original routine that made him go viral, there's a variety of other routines that he's posted online that throw into question what an ideal Ashton Hall routine might be. For instance, sometimes he's sprinting at the gym, but other times he's lifting weights or playing tennis or basketball. Sometimes he's got an entire film crew shooting him sprint against the toughest challengers in the world, like a German Shepherd or DJ Khaled. Sometimes he's putting cucumbers in his ice facials, other times he's squeezing a lemon in there. So in order to assemble the perfect routine, I've simplified some stuff, and I'm gonna be switching up what I do on certain days in order to cover as much of Ashton's routine as possible. Also, just gotta mention this, shortly after Ashton's original routine went viral, he also released a night routine, starting at 5 p.m. I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna do this. Because if I added this into the regular routine, I'd be spending close to like 60 hours a week either getting ready for the day or getting ready for the next day. So I'm gonna settle for 40 hours, all right? I'm just doing the morning routine. This is the official finalized version of the morning routine I'll be doing. Here's some things that you should know about this routine. I don't have access to a pool as I'm going into this routine. I was in the process of figuring out how to have access to one, but I for sure couldn't do it every day. I'll be switching the cardio portion of my routine between running at the treadmill at the gym or doing basketball like Ashton does, amongst other things. I will be trying to use only bottled water, specifically Saratoga water. Ashton doesn't specify what type of shower he does, but there is an Instagram post he made where he talks about cold showers being a thing for him. So I have to assume that that's what he does in his routine. Cold showers every day. And for breakfast, I'll need to be making it myself because I don't have a mysterious assistant that does everything for me. Each day, I'll be trying reasonably my best to achieve Ashton Hall's morning routine time, which is finishing by 9:25 a.m. I knew that most of the time I probably wasn't going to achieve.
Why didn't you let Ted use your pool? Wait, what? He never asked me for that. I would have let him use my pool.
This, but hey, it's good to shoot for the stars. So with all that being said, it was time for me the night before to go to the grocery store. But before we do that, we've got our sponsor. Thank you to Midas Merge for sponsoring this video. I've been playing this game for the last week, and honestly, I've been having a blast. Midas Merge is a Merge 3 game where players combine creatures and treasures strategically, completing quests and harnessing the sun's energy to dispel the darkness cast by Nyx, the goddess of night. She might be the goddess of night, but she's not the goddess of nice. She's diabolical. Basically, the story in the game is that you gotta team up with King Midas and Queen Leah to revive the Gardens of Gold from the darkness cast by Nyx. The game is filled with all these little cute creatures, and you can evolve them by merging them together to make them look even cooler. Also, I got to a point in the game where I can rename my creatures. It's become very fun for me to rename them to like ridiculous names. Some of my best work is the Drowned One, Wretched Little Weasel, Cerberus's Weird Brother, or my personal favorite, that Freaky Diesel Drinker. I'm having a lot of fun with that. The game is free to download, it's ad-free, and there's no dead ends. Plus, the game's perfect for offline play, so you don't need Wi-Fi or internet connection to play, which is sick because I'm gonna be traveling abroad in like less than a week, and I'm definitely gonna be playing this on the plane. Now listen up. Be among the first 100 to install via my link or the QR code on screen, and you'll get a unique U-Turtle level 1 that is personalized with my name. That's a TED Turtle right there. Don't miss out and download now. I know this is sponsored, but I've genuinely been enjoying this game. It's actually fun to play, it's ad-free, which is cool, and it's very satisfying to merge things together. So if you're interested, absolutely check it out. Now let's get back to the video. So I headed off to the only grocery store I could see near me that carried Saratoga water, Whole Foods. Picking up the main groceries was a breeze. Avocados, bananas, some bread, bacon. Everything was going smoothly until I realized to my horror, this Whole Foods was out of Saratoga water. Was it possible that Ashton Hall's virality was clearing Saratoga water off the shelves? I didn't know what to do, so I scanned the shelves in a panic, and I chose what I assumed was the next best option, Mountain Valley Spring Water. I gotta admit, I was a little embarrassed about this, but I had to start the routine tomorrow, so I loaded up the truck and I headed home. I'm back in my apartment right now. It is 9:25 p.m. I'm actually really tired right now. I think my body knows that I'm about to go on a journey that I've never quite been on before. And it's like, you gotta get to sleep. We're gonna have to deal with the mountain water for now, but I'm definitely gonna try to get some Saratoga tomorrow. I'm just gonna toss a bunch of this in the fridge so it's like cold, because I'm gonna be using it to do an ice bath on my face. Now all there is to do is just to go to bed. I'm actually super late to going to bed. I totally screwed myself for the first day. It's 10:45 p.m. I got a little distracted. Time to head up to bed. I'm ready for bed. So all there is to do now, really, start putting on these hostage tapes onto my mouth and onto my nose.
What?
These are the self-mummification
That's what it's called?
devices you see Ashton Hall wearing in the morning. The mouth tape is meant to encourage nose breathing, and the nose tape, I think, also does that. I'm a little bit concerned that I'm gonna suffocate in my sleep. I've never done this before. It's alleging that I will breathe better than ever before. Come on. Okay, it's time for the mouth tape. Here I go. This is the last time I talk until the morning. Okay, this is the part where I take over. How are you feeling? What do you do? What is that, so-so? Well, whatever. It was time to go to bed for day 1 of the morning routine. Oh my God. What an inopportune time to be waking up. That was a delectable 4 hours that I just got. It's already 4:03 right now, so I feel like a psychopath. First step was to grab some water downstairs. Hello? Usually you can't see all the colors of my eyes like this. Now I look like I'm in that movie, Pretties or something. Get like turned into like the fancy people. Hey, welcome. I wake up at 4 a.m. every morning. And I love it. Anyways, I grabbed some Mountain Valley and I headed up to brush. It's 4:10 a.m. I'm already 15 minutes behind. It honestly took me kind of an embarrassing amount of time to finish the math problem. I was like, oh, time to wet the brush with bottled water. That water's so cold. Then it was time to head out to the balcony. Good morning, Los Angeles. I'm supposedly supposed to do push-ups for like 13 minutes or something. I feel like I'm a stray cat that got...
How much do I gotta pay you to do this? Dude, you'll see when I come up in the video in a minute, but I already have a morning routine. It's just a little bit more adjusted to normal time, but my morning routine doesn't start at 6 a.m. or 4 a.m., but it starts at 6 a.m.
Caught digging through the trash. I did my best to do my push-ups, but admittedly, it had been a while since I'd done some.
I already do this.
I wasn't the biggest fan of this part.
This fucking blows, dude. This fucking blows.
And then I immediately started rationalizing not doing push-ups for the full 13 minutes.
We have no idea how many push-ups he actually does, right? I did like 30 since we're on the balcony right now.
It's time to sip on that bottled water.
That's the good stuff.
The next step in the Ashton Hall routine is to do the ice facial. And now I gotta add my Mountain Valley water. This feels like an obscene waste of fresh spring water, which is a little bit of a bummer. I just don't think that having this much...
No, I didn't cover the plane crash, and I'm not going to cover the plane crash unless you come to the protest with me tomorrow. It's going to be a libbed up protest. It's going to be like the hat women's march, and therefore you have to come to the protest with me, Austin. But if you cover the protest with me, Austin, look, there's 43,000 people in here, You cannot disappoint the 80,000 people that'll be watching, nor the 43,000 people that are watching currently. You have to come. Yeah, I pulled you out. I pulled you out. I'm putting you on the spot. I have a meeting. Shut the f up. No, you don't. What time is your meeting? What time's your meeting? Shake him. What time's your meeting? During the protest? You don't know when the protest is. The protest is a whole day. Yeah, exactly. You're lying. You're coming with me. You have to come with me.
Much spring water at your disposal is reasonable at all. I've never. That's cold. Oh God. Here we go.
God, I feel like a wet cat.
I gotta hand it to him. That did wake me up. Should I go for another hit? Let me try it again.
Second time was a mistake.
Shit, I got a brain freeze. I got like a brain freeze in my face. Oh, that's painful. An obscene waste of water. I feel like I should save this for later. I'm gonna put it in the fridge.
I tried my best to do some meditation, but because I was on camera, I was having a hard time taking it seriously.
Seems so ridiculous to try to do that with a giant light in my face.
So I moved on to the journaling. I basically just used this time to free write, sort of just writing whatever was on my mind without stopping.
It's actually
Judy and I are
becoming light
scared.
out.
You
I'm
have
gonna
to
watch
come.
a sermon on my phone. So I'm gonna go do that right now.
Can you find Jesus in Shrek? Now, if you see baby Shrek, double tap the screen quickly.
At this point, we run into a little bit of a problem. Ashton Hall normally goes to the gym at 6 a.m. My gym doesn't open until 7. I'm gonna be an hour behind. Luckily, later on in the week, it opens up a little bit earlier. Let it be known right now, when I go to the gym, I'm not gonna be filming myself in the gym. I think that that's kind of disrespectful to the other people who are just literally going to the gym. And I don't really want to film myself working out. I don't think anyone really wants to film themselves working out unless there's someone like Ashton Hall.
So I used this time to work a little bit on my computer, which would have been totally fine if I didn't lose track of time.
Okay, it's 7:20. I worked on my computer a little bit. I'm far behind where Ashton would be at this point. Time to go to the gym. Hitting the road. It's been perhaps several months since I've gone to the gym. First of all, I've wasted a lot of money not having gone to the gym. I'm gonna walk in there and they're gonna be like, it's been a while since we've seen you.
As if they care.
Your boy is just finished at the gym. I got a juicy pump going. That's what Tucker would say. I got a juicy pump in. However, I do have to get my cardio in, so I think it's time for me to take a little visit to the most Ashton Hall adjacent content creator I know.
Hasan Piker, internet streamer, political commentator, filthy commie, but most importantly, the guy I occasionally meet up with to play basketball. Hasan is an enigma in my view. He manages to work out every day. And one of my greatest struggles on playing with him more frequently is that he plays so goddamn early in the morning. So needless to say, he was excited I was awake this time.
Shall we ball?
We got to ball at least 10,000.
Okay, that's...
I'm so excited.
You're really excited about this because you're going to be like, oh, I'm going to school Ted basketball. I'm excited about this because I'm going to be able to get video footage of Hasan bitching for about 30 to 40 minutes.
Oh, that was my arm. Oh, that hit me so hard.
I hadn't played in a while, so this went really, really badly for me. I was exhausted the whole time since basketball is mostly running, but I did get a good pass in.
Yes.
And I did manage to make one basket, and damn.
Off of Chris. Oh my God. Off of Chris too. Hey, yo. He got posterized. God damn. Chris is a baller too. Be real. Do you text like that? No, those text messages are real. Literally. Those text messages are all real. That's not fake. Like, and yes, I do complain a lot. I haven't watched this yet. I know I was in the thing. I know I was in the, let me see. Where is it? Like if I'm looking at our back and forth and it's mostly just like, it's ball today, ball, basketball emoji.
Did I look good? Unfortunately, my team lost to Hasan's team, but I would have a chance to redeem myself in a couple days. So I decided to cut my losses and move on with my routine.
All right, that's it for me. That's it for me. I got other parts of the routine to do. Oh my God, I'm sweating. I know it's bad when my glasses are fogging up. I may have just made a single basket, but I still got a lot of cardio in it. It's 10:09 right now. At this point, I'm possibly like 2 hours behind where Ashton Hall would be. Next up on the docket, I gotta take a cold shower. Growing up in the cold winters of Massachusetts, my mornings for school were defined by a hot shower that was like, maybe 10 minutes longer than it should be. Maybe I took such long showers that my dad would have to turn off the water manually to get me to stop. I like my hot showers, man.
This week would have no hot showers, though. Only cold, cold showers.
All right, here we go.
My tripod fell and broke.
This was miserable beyond belief.
Fuck this.
It like hurts my head. Free at last. That was a nightmare. Okay, we're at the breakfast portion of the video. Basically the main
His
breakfast
nose is red from the nose tape.
that I've been seeing Ashton Hall eat is avocado toast, bacon, scrambled eggs with Mike's Hot Honey. And this is the thing that excited me the most. I don't know what it is about the name, but even before I knew what it was,
Has Ted not watched the content nuke? Is he stupid? Good one. Yeah, why is Ted hanging out with this anti-Semite who has, since the context nuke, been featured in New York Times, CNN, MSNBC, NBC, ABC, CBS, the Politics Institute at the University of Chicago, and virtually every other international outlet. What? You paid for it. Yeah, that's so funny. Vulture 2 recently. Yeah, I haven't even gotten to New Yorker. I haven't even gotten to the Vulture article, which, from what I understand, Ethan Klein is suggesting I paid for, which is hilarious because not only do I don't think that's how it works, first of all. I don't think you can get these outlets to like write articles about you. You could hire a PR firm to get good media coverage, except if you know anything about me, you know I do not even have a assistant, let alone a publicist. So Vulture was a bit of a puff piece. Yeah, of course. These guys write puff pieces. I don't know if you know this, but there are a lot of journalists in this chat. Okay, like the clients are rumored to be worth like 10x what Hasan is. If good press can be so easily bought, why is it that only positive articles written about H3H from some Israeli PR firm posting AI generated slop on Medium? Lol, this is getting pathetic. People don't like you, bro. You can't buy your way out of that. This is the funniest thing to be like, people don't like you, bro. I'm pretty sure people like me, man. I don't know. My manager just texted me and said, "You do have a publicist, bro." And then he said it's his name. Yeah, that's my publicist, my manager. I mean, unironically, he does handle all the inbound requests coming from media. Holy f***, the subreddit is so bad that nobody bothered to post your article to the sub. We can't do anything. Yeah, I can't even reach this goddamn article. Holy, I'm working on the assistant thing for the record. Okay, this guy's suing people into liking you, by the way. Oh yeah, I have a publicist called the CCP. It's true. Remove the paywall. It's been a hectic year for Hasan Piker. On top of broadcasting the slow death of liberalism nearly every day out of his home in West Hollywood, 33-year-old socialist streamer has left his desk to appear at Bernie Sanders' Fighting Oligarchy tour, kneecaps Coachella performance, the Palestine rally in D.C., an interview with New York City mayoral candidate Zohran Mamdani, and most recently the ICE protests in Los Angeles, taking his massive Twitch audience along for the ride. Once widely known as Woke Bay for his sharp yet horny daily broadcast, Piker, who was raised in Turkey, has recently amassed enough respect to ignite feverish debates on whether he can be the long-awaited Joe Rogan of the left. As legacy media hemorrhages his youth audience, Piker's viewers turn to him to explain the news and analyze often unprecedented moments in global history. Piker sees the current political moment in stark terms, and his recent output suggests he's operating with a new sense of determination. Liberalism is failing, fascism is rising through the ashes, and God forbid the alternative. Any sort of socialist thought is terrifying for the masses to actually develop any kind of allegiance to, he said, when we spoke on the phone earlier this year. But after years spent amassing a devoted audience as his profile has grown, so has the target on his back. In the last month alone, he has had his Twitch channel suspended, been detained by Customs and Border Protection, and gotten caught up in a tortuous feud with frenemy Ethan Klein. Ethan Klein mentioned, there you go, Ethan. His Twitch stream, however, to which he still devotes hours a day, remains his primary focus. While his work has resulted in a good deal of notoriety, the job itself can be unglamorous and painstaking. Before logging on, Piker says he spends his mornings perusing every corner of the media before setting an agenda that he'll post to his social media channels. The lineup for a recent broadcast: New Pope, Trump drama with Israel, Remeza Öztürk free, I am still suck in France. Pikers is a new version of leftist news broadcaster. Liberal media MSNBC Bill Maher, Pod Save America, is making a very cold, calculated decision to demonstrate loyalty to liberalism at a time when it's very clearly failing ideologically. Everything is fine. Plug your eyes. Keep the ideological zealotry going. They've given up, he says. What he delivers is clearly finding an audience with a young, eager, very online audience. There's a structural hurdle that they cannot clear. They cannot turn around and get people to go back on TV. When you look at the audience numbers for 18 to 35 or even under 50, and this even includes Fox News, it's gone. I, on my own, as a singular content creator from my living room, reach a larger audience of 18 to 35-year-olds than numerous TV channels combined. That's crazy. Outside of his own show, Piker frequently appears on other podcasts and live streams. After watching him play Assassin's Creed, talk about Vinland Saga, work out with Dr. Mike Israel, or pal around with fellow streamers Maya Higa and Valkyrie elsewhere on the internet, people might tune in to hear Piker make a case for a political figure that includes Medicare for all, political future, Palestinian freedom, and transgender rights. Where did these disparate interests all come from? Piker described the influences that shape his Twitch broadcast. Mainstream media. My media diet consists of everything. I pride myself on looking at everything all the way down to a hyper niche subset of an online movement, while also consuming more Fox News than your grandfather. My mornings consist of listening to NPR and the New York Times to get a good grasp of everything that's going on. I probably watch a lot more right-wing commentary now because I'm trying to figure out exactly what Republicans are saying and doing, what they're focusing on, and then also trying to figure out ways of dismantling these arguments that they put forward, or see what kind of misinformation campaigns they're running nowadays. Democracy Now! With Amy Goodman, The Daily Show with Jon Stewart. Amy Goodman has been very influential for me. I don't even know when I started watching Democracy Now!, to be honest, but I think it was during college, 2009 or so. I can't point to a single event, but broadly during the war in Iraq, The Daily Show was basically one of the only voices out there that was genuinely critical of both parties. So that definitely influenced my commentary. I wouldn't say Jon Stewart influenced me ideologically. I already had this opinion. Growing up on that side of the world, I already felt what America was doing was wrong. But seeing someone tackle it in an entertaining and palatable manner and give it to both sides was very influential for me. Ironically, I filled that void for many of my international fans who were like, is there an American out there that's criticizing a lot of the stuff that America's doing around the globe? The way Amy Goodman and Jon Stewart actually filled it for me. Someone recently asked me, what unlocked their social consciousness? Growing up in Turkey, I only saw black culture as fascinating commodity to consume. If you're coming from a country where there's not a lot of black people, your introduction to American culture is simply black culture, and everyone is fascinated with that. And for me, it was Aaron Magruder's The Boondocks that was influential in my understanding of black revolutionary history or issues that pertain to black and brown communities. The Boondocks predicted thing is actually kind of annoying because they're not predicting anything. They were leftists. That's it. The people who were making it at the time had a closeness to historical materialism. It's not prophecy. It's just looking at the way things are and interpreting them correctly rather than engaging in silly liberal good bad dynamics. That's mostly the reason why the Boondocks and old Simpsons come across as brilliant and prophetic. By the way, I'm kind of spitting, like, not to self-glaze, playing video games. I think gaming is a very good way to approach a broader audience, and I see people and have people see me engage in something that they are also interested in. Charitability is the most important thing for my commentary because for a lot of people, they're hearing the way I view the world for the first time ever. So I need that, and I think gaming plays a big role in that. I get to be able to share something that I love and something that I enjoy with my audience, and I try to be as entertaining as possible in that process. Shut the fuck up, everyone complaining that I'm not playing games. Video games also play an important role in preserving my mental sanity, but there are some rage-inducing games that I have to quit after a while, despite of how addicted I get to them, because they have a negative impact on my mental health, like Valorant. I love Disco Elysium. It has something for every flavor of anti-capitalism. It was not a very good stream game, unfortunately. I think the YouTube video afterwards did well, but during the stream, people were getting kind of bored because it's like a novel. Bill Burr. I try to be funny. It's really important to be entertaining, cool, and fun while you're doing your news coverage, especially when you're trying to teach people. These are like they asked me, I think, this was such a long time ago, but I think they just asked me like what my media influences are from like each specific subsect. A message that keeps on giving to all the haters. Post the context nuke. Yeah, I know. He will never let that go. He gets more and more mad every time someone brings that up. Comedy is the greatest way to do that. I'm not one of those people who's like comedians are the philosophers of the world or whatever, because I laugh at a fart joke just like everybody else does. There are plenty of things that make me laugh that aren't brilliant or thought-provoking. Bill Burr does this really well. He's carrying the torch of George Carlin. He's not perceived as a crazy guy who's a radical, who has scary opinions. Why? Because he's a comedian. Sci-fi films, I weirdly enough love the movie Elysium, which is so embarrassing to admit because it's a dog shit movie. It's not a good movie at all, but the world building is what I like the most. I just really like tech dystopia future movies. Movies can critique power. The greatest example of that is Star Wars, right? George Lucas very clearly defined Star Wars as an interpretation of the Viet Cong against the American Empire. It is supposed to be an anti-imperialist work. That's not a secret at all, yet everybody misses the point. I wouldn't consider George Lucas a revolutionary figure at all. Gaining that level of power and prominence does have the capacity to kind of stunt your radical approach to the world, or your revolutionary fervor goes away when you become very comfortable. It's something that I also think about in my own personal experience. Movies can create real critique of power, but once it's commodified and it's ready for mass consumption, you can't really control the ways in which the masses consume it and interpret the message you're putting out there. Another great example is obviously Starship Troopers. The novel it's based on is supposed to be pro-fascist, but the movie is a critique of fascism and ultranationalism and patriotism and war, imperialism, all that. Good luck explaining that to anybody. Most people look at that and they go, no, I don't care. Bugs are stupid and they must be eradicated. It's up to interpretation, and therefore a lot of people will miss the message. And I guess that's the end of the article. I can't see the comments because I'm not signed in, but I assume they're all wonderful. This is before I watch. That's how you know this is so long ago, because I didn't even mention Andor, because I would have absolutely mentioned Andor. Here, before we get to Ted Nivison, here's a 42-second clip.
I made this video for 2 reasons. First, to stop Hasan infiltrating mainstream media.
Shut up!
Popular left-wing Twitch streamer and YouTuber Hasan Piker.
This is Hasan Piker.
Mr. Hasan Piker.
My lawyer can't do shit.
Bro, that is a fire edit. Yeah. Could you imagine wasting 6 months of your time to make a video that failed miserably in every way? It not only failed miserably in every way, but it also basically became a permanent point of record that people can always look back at throughout history to see exactly how wrong,
This is Hasan.
exactly how wrong Ethan Klein was. Hold on, I'm gonna retweet that. I'm gonna retweet the video. Yeah, I just retweeted this. The Kleins are rumored to be worth like 10x what Hasan is. If good press can be so easily bought, why is it the only positive articles written about H3 or some from some Israeli firm posting AI generated slop on Medium? Tell people to subscribe. Yes, subscribe so that I can buy more articles.
First time I saw this on a menu on a food item, I was like, sign me up. Something about the fact that it's named after a guy, maybe. It makes whatever the food item is, maybe 300% more interesting to me. Whatever the case, I gotta do this as fast as possible so I can stay as close to Ashton's time as possible. Which would mean this morning routine challenged me with something I hadn't done in a couple of weeks. Cooking.
Pushing the lead, focus and speed, I'm in the mode. Over the hill, icy green, go for the gold. I gotta build all that I be, watch it unfold.
Bro sprayed the pan to put bacon on it. Dog, that's bacon. It's literally, it is already, it's fat. It's mostly fat.
Motions, when you come from a loss, gotta be so devoted. Forward motion, and I gotta give them a show.
I burned everything. Besides the eggs. I didn't burn the eggs. Turns out when you're trying to film a little montage, you forget to turn things over and then they end up like this. Hey man, bacon is bacon though. This is what I was looking forward to
That's
all
cancer.
day. And now for the piece de resistance of this meal. Mike's hot honey over the eggs. Oh. Okay.
That's probably good.
I bought these avocados yesterday, so a little bit lacking in ripeness. Sort of a strange flavor profile for eggs. I'm with it a little bit. I'm kind of with it. I haven't eaten any food today. It has been like 7 hours. Basically fasted most of the day. And I've only pretty much been working out or putting myself in cold situations. I mean, this is a good breakfast. I'm enjoying myself deeply. I think the most exhausting thing out of anything today, though, is the thought in my head that I have to do this 6 more times. I bodied that meal. Ashton Hall does this final ice dunk bath while he's fully dressed. Here we go. Into the fray.
That's so painful.
All right, give me another one.
Why did I do it a second time?
How? The first one, it's surprising, but it feels kind of good. When I go for the second one, it hurts. Final time, 11:58 a.m. So not quite as fast. Here's the time split that we need to make up for. Accounting for the hour off that we were at because my gym wasn't open yet, I would say that we pretty much were only behind by an hour. That's pretty good. Day 1 complete. I'm exhausted.
So if you didn't realize at this point, Ashton Hall's morning routines are probably a lie. They're probably false. And at the very least, Ashton's filming process surely takes longer than he says it does. I know this because I had to directly set up each of these shots. It's taken me longer than I'd expected to, and I'm not doing it on a camera where I'm gonna get lens blur. I'm doing it on this little thing because it's super light and I can move it around really easily and not.
This camera setup I filmed the beginning of the video on because that would be ridiculous.
Like, look at him doing those push-ups in the morning before he knocks over the Saratoga water. That's a match cut. Are we doing cinematic editing here? Look at him when he's journaling. That's a shot reverse shot. He's making a movie. The actual action that Ashton Hall is doing here is creating viral content by portraying something so ridiculous that it's shared across the internet and everyone has something to say about it, including me. I'd be foolish if I didn't recognize that me making this very video is playing into the hand of his viral marketing strategy.
I noticed that too. Like when I was watching, remember, like I said it, when I first watched his videos, I was like, this is like the cinematography is unironically way better than the average TikTok.
At the same time, though, it's clear to a certain degree that he takes himself quite seriously. Previously, he had simply been creating gym workout content, where it was just him showing off various workouts he'd do for people to see online. And this is also Ashton can create an image of himself as an authority on health and wellness so he can funnel people into his main job, which primarily from my research is that he is a fitness coach that coaches other fitness coaches, which if I'm following the hierarchy correctly, that would make him the fitness coach Pope. But on his official website, he also offers services to the lowly small bicep peasant class, which is one-on-one personal fitness coaching. It starts at $3,300 for the base plan, and it expands all the way to almost $10,000 for 1 year of remote coaching, which interestingly enough is the only program in which you'd actually get one-on-one coaching from Ashton, which makes it kind of silly that all of them are titled Train With Me. Right? But if you're worried about whether or not it'll work for you, the 10K program also comes with motivational support from Ashton. I like to imagine it's just a text message every other week that's just like, bro, lock in. While Ashton has this entire business that's centered around being this serious workout coach persona, he also surprisingly plays into the memes that he unintentionally created. Like the first time that he said,
looking at it, bro, we gotta go ahead and get in at least 10,000.
That was a serious attempt by Ashton to act. But later on in his content, you'll start to see him reference it more.
You've made your first 10,000. Congratulations. We gotta do at least 20, bro. Tomorrow, we gotta do at least 10,000.
And then what you start to see is this intentional attempt to create moments that will create engagement for him. One is by creating strange moments that go unaddressed. Like there's an increasing amount of—
No, he's not talking about 10,000 steps. It could be 10,000 anything.
Moments where things are just getting shattered all the time.
I don't know why he keeps breaking shit.
I don't know what sort of reaction Ashton is trying to get from this, but it's coming off like he's a big toddler that hasn't figured out motor skills yet. He seems to have a fixation on wearing socks when people normally wouldn't, like taking a bath. Brother's just walking around with soggy socks. But then he doesn't.
I think, yeah, all of that is on purpose. It's not someone say he's autistic. No, dude. First of all, I think an autistic person would rather kill themselves than get wet socks in the bathtub. I cannot imagine, like, I'm not autistic, obviously, but, you know, I cannot imagine, like, if I were, I would probably die before I would get into the goddamn tub with socks on. Oh my God. I don't even want to think about it. Holy. Okay.
Doesn't wear socks in scenarios he should, like wearing shoes. It drives people in the comments crazy, so that means it's working. As his virality has waned over the last month, he's been introducing new steps into his routine to keep people interested. My personal favorite he posted on May 12th, where now he's introducing a red light mask at 4 a.m. He's just sitting there looking like Dr. Doom as this woman pours water for him. What could he be scheming about? And at 8 a.m., he engages in the strangest thing I've ever seen. He puts his nose tape and his mouth tape back on, and then begins to saran wrap onions to the bottom of his feet, puts socks on, and then takes a 15-minute nap. Then takes it all off and continues on with his day. What the hell was that? Did he run out of routine ideas and now he's taking inspiration from the Brothers Grimm? This looks like something I'd be told to do by a witch doctor to cure my plague. And amongst all of this nonsense that Ashton is posting to his social media, at the same time he posted a video, The Truth About Stealing Content, where he decides to address all of the people copying his video.
I came here to address the nonsense. So many videos are being sent to me, duplicates of my videos. This is for the creators that are sick and tired of their work being copied.
This video has been perceived in two ways by the public. The first is that Ashton is seeing all of these people making joke versions of his viral routine and being upset that they're copying his lifestyle, which is what the majority of the comments think that he's doing. On the other hand, some people think he's referencing this other content creator, Marvin Achi. This guy is another fitness coach content creator. He's got a website, he's got an app to sell. And when Ashton started blowing up, this guy started doing the same thing, but to like a cartoonish degree. He's also trying to start a little bit of a water war between him and Ashton by only using Voss water instead of Saratoga. This is the type of person I think Ashton is talking about, but the way that he frames this problem is that he used to care about this stuff, but he doesn't now.
I used to get pissed off. The running videos, the ASMR with workouts,
I think judging by what I saw, as far as his reaction to losing the speed, I do think he cares about this stuff. Like a lot. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I think this is exactly the type of shit he cares about.
Act like I'm a saint. I used to block anybody who was doing
I've been waiting for this moment.
things similar to me.
And then he somehow works in a way to compare himself to Jesus Christ.
Then I realized, bro, like, people follow Jesus. Why? Because he was great. As a Christian man, why are you angry if they're following you?
Ashton, you're right. That dude is copying you. Totally fair. He is definitely copying you. That doesn't That doesn't make you Jesus, though. Overall, what's strange to me about this whole situation is that Ashton doesn't really seem to know what the tone of his content is. Because you can't market yourself as this serious, God-fearing fitness coach that's gonna make you shed all that fat if you follow this simple routine, but then be saran wrapping onions to your feed for a 15-minute nap as part of that process. It kind of takes away from any chance that people were gonna take you seriously, doesn't it?
Okay, it is bedtime number 2. I can't believe that we're already here. But there's been an update. Look at that. I got the real thing now. Glass bottle. I've never actually had Saratoga water before, but goddamn was it expensive. Tastes like water, Moses. This time around I'm doing a little bit better than last time. It's actually 8:30 right now. I found myself getting exhausted pretty much around like 4 p.m. So I'm hoping that that won't happen tomorrow. It's time to tape up.
So I mummified myself and it was time for day 2. Welcome to day 2. First problem today, the mouth tape had fused with my mustache. I couldn't get it off.
This is gonna hurt. That's pulling my mustache hairs out. I'm having a bit of a slower start this morning already. I'm hard behind the Ashton schedule, so I gotta get moving immediately. I made a couple mistakes last time I did this morning routine. I didn't do the banana scenario.
I think I was stressed and trying to keep track of so many parts of his routine that the banana wipe somehow slipped my mind. But never again. So I brushed my teeth.
And today's a special day. We're going pure Saratoga. God, that got water everywhere. Привет, comrades.
These push-ups once again were a pain in the ass. And then I assumed maybe Ashton Hall did other workouts on the balcony, so I tried doing sit-ups and that was just as miserable.
I love that he has still remaining tape on in and around his mouth.
I just don't want to do this. I just woke up. I don't want to do this.
But I pounded some Saratoga and I did even more push-ups until my misery hit a peak and I moved on.
Fuck this. I gotta say, I definitely feel a lot better than I initially felt yesterday morning. It's probably because I have more sleep in my system because I went to bed at 8. Nobody's going to bed at 8 p.m. unless you're a regular at bingo night. What's crazy about this morning schedule, mother doesn't take off this nose strip until like 6 a.m. He keeps this thing on for an extra 2 hours. Why? Why do I have to keep this on, Ashton?
Then instead of meditating, I decided to use the time to instead call my parents, who I hadn't spoken to in a while.
I woke up at 3:50 in the morning. That's ridiculous. Yeah, I've been going to sleep at like 8.
Ted would have a dad that says redonkulous. Oh my God. Oh my God. That is the most Theodore Nivison thing I have. Wow.
p.m. because I'm doing this morning routine thing for a YouTube video.
They live on the East Coast, so they were awake, and it just seemed like a better usage of my time. And of course, I have to watch my daily sermon.
Adam and Eve were caught on camera.
Then I did the journaling.
5:49, it's time to move on to the next part of the routine. Here we go.
That is adorkable.
Doesn't get any easier. Man.
So I got dressed, made sure to bring some Saratoga with me, and headed off to the gym.
I'm so excited to go to the gym. I'm not. Okay, I made it to the gym now. Today I'm gonna be doing my cardio here. Okay. I'm ready to go home again.
Then it was time for my favorite part of this routine.
You're gonna stop. No, why have you forsaken me? I gotta say, I am not a fan of that. Least favorite part of this journey. It is now time to do the banana skincare. I thought I was filming myself, but I wasn't. I ate this whole banana. How does he do this specifically? Okay, so he wipes it on like his cheek. Okay, this feels counterintuitive. I'm making myself dirty again after having just showered. Appreciate that, Ashton. Get it on the forehead, of course. I feel like I just did something dirty. I feel like a new man already. This isn't the last time that my face is getting wet though, because I have to do another water thing. It hurts every time. Ow. Some of you might be wondering, Ted, is there a difference between submerging your face in Mountain Valley water versus Saratoga water? No. Next on the docket, make some food.
This time I focused entirely on cooking this well, because I don't think I could handle the embarrassment of burning everything twice.
I did not burn it this time. I think it actually looks pretty good.
Then I pounded the food to finish off the routine.
With this meal finished, that is my morning routine. All I gotta do now is just walk into my office and the morning routine will be done. It's 10:05 right now. With this, I'm only 50 minutes behind him. Yesterday was like 3 hours behind.
So we got a little bit closer to Ashton's time. Let's keep going. Ashton Hall is obviously the first person in a while that's gone very viral for his specific morning routine, but what he does is not new.
Ridiculous morning routines have always been a part of the online space, and as is law in the ecosystem of commentary, it is our job to point out why it's ridiculous.
us.
This pandemic, it's gonna weed out the weak.
But the reality is, Ashton Hall's content is a much more packaged and mainstream-friendly version of what people generally call manosphere content. There are so many versions of what this looks like, ranging from the most extreme examples that would come to mind, such as like Andrew Tate.
Next time your girlfriend says, let's go movies, say, no, no movies. I'm locked in, I'm in the trenches, I'm getting rich. Stand by me and enjoy the fruits of my labor, or be gone.
To others who are just obsessed with constantly behaving like they're in a state of, like, berserker rage. Ashton Hall signals similar themes as these other
Was that guy doing the anime I'm coming face? What is the face called? There's a term for it. Ahegao, yeah. That was Ahegao.
Content creators. But in his most popular content, it's done in a much quieter way. He's refined this sense of alpha male grind set into like a chic aesthetic. Something seemingly peaceful and satisfying with these ASMR-esque sounds edited into his content.
Backshots, manosphere style.
As if engaging in this world is in itself a form of meditation. What's ironic about this is that very similar imagery was used in the movie American Psycho, with the character Patrick Bateman doing an extensive morning routine where he points out every little detail and facet on how he gets ready for his day.
After I remove the ice pack, I use a deep pore cleanser lotion.
In that movie, it was meant to help illustrate an obsessive and unnatural fixation with the superficial, and helps build out the character of Patrick Bateman, the murdering psychopath. I don't think that Ashton Hall is a psychopath. I'm sure that he's probably a nice guy. But it's interesting how this sort of community of online personalities has shifted into behaving this way. In the modern era, there's clearly some level of desire by some men to somehow reactivate a hunter-gatherer context in their life. And if I'm having a bad week in terms of motivation, I would be lying if I said that listening to one of these guys tell me that working at my computer every day was the same thing as killing a fucking wildebeest with my bare hands didn't hype me up like a little bit, because it does. I've got testosterone flowing through my veins. I do. And yeah, he's speaking at a specific frequency that when I hear that, I'm like,
you must learn how to eat by yourself.
No movies!
I might transform. If you asked me unprompted if I could land a commercial airliner if both of the pilots passed out, I'd give you an optimistic answer. I would. I know it isn't realistic, but my soul wants it to be true. There's this one guy that's been memed on to hell where he worked like one double shift and now he's acting like he can manipulate time.
So I measure time. I've compressed and condensed time. I've bent it.
I love, this is my favorite guy.
24 hours, just like some dude in a cave did 300 years ago. My second day starts at noon and goes till 6 p.m.
My favorite guy.
That's day 2. And then the next day is 6 p.m. to midnight. What I've done now is I have changed and manipulated time. I now get 21 days a week. Stack that up over a month, I'm gonna kick your butt. Stack that up over a year, you're toast.
Stack that up over 10 years, I got a higher GDP than some developing nations. Stack that over 20 years, you're donezo. I'm already hunting humans for sport. Stack that over 40 years, I'm way ahead. I don't have a body anymore. I'm fully bionic. I don't need to sleep. I've tripled my tripled weight. Stack that over 80 years, I've bought the sun. I'm selling people light. Stack that over 160 years. Also, a guy living in a cave 300 years ago?
Just like some dude in a cave did 300 years ago.
Who was living in a cave in 1725? These guys are always going on.
Yeah, there were dudes living in a cave in 1725. They were just as insane as this guy is. This tracks. Okay, you're nitpicking and biased. Bye-bye. He wins. Clearly, a person who was doing the same insane shit this guy's doing would be insane enough to be living in a cave.
Podcasts and making content talking about how this is the ideal lifestyle to get what you want out of life. But when I listen to these people speak and talk about their lifestyles, it seems more like a really roundabout and complicated projection of their own ego. We don't necessarily need to know or have proof that these guys are waking up at 4 a.m. every day, grabbing Loki by the nutsack and manipulating the time stream. All they really care about is being able to say that they wake up at 4 a.m. every day, so that they can fabricate a hierarchy where they're above the average person. Because what authority do they really have to speak on these things other than being an early riser, having suspiciously large deltoids, and speaking like they're mad?
Now, for me, $250,000 is not much money. As you guys could understand, $250,000 is not much money.
Well, a lot of the time it's the appearance of being rich. Ashton Hall's entire brand is drenched in this thick outer coating of luxury.
One of the funniest parts about this is that, like, there was a time and place where I think people understood that, like, most actually rich people don't flex how much wealth they have. Like, that was like the dumb guy's aesthetic of like showing Jay-Z, like back when he wasn't rich, he had the jewelry, and then when he became actually a billionaire, he stopped wearing the jewelry. Like, that was like a dumb guy meme on Facebook, and And now I feel like we've just completely flipped it. And these guys are totally back on the actually you have to flaunt your wealth all the time. And for most people, ironically enough, most people that say like $250,000 is not that much money, like those motherfuckers are just faking it. Like they rent cars, they rent Airbnbs and shoot all their content when they do that sort of stuff. So they don't even have money to begin with. Making the money comes from acting like you have money to begin with so that people will buy your stupid ass courses.
That's very hard to ignore. We'll see him looking out from the balcony of his luxury apartment, sipping his needlessly expensive bottled water. Bottled water that has less in common with a 30-pack of Poland Spring you'd pick up at the grocery store than it does with a luxury vodka you'd see at a Miami club. He casually will put on a $5,000 bracelet just to run on a treadmill at the gym, or make it quite clear that he has money to spare in any circumstance he realistically can. As a result, there's this weird hypocrisy mixed into this entire alpha male persona that Ashton has cultivated. Because a lot of his thesis is work hard, wake up early, lock in sort of messaging. But then a lot of the stuff in Ashton's life is done for him. He has assistants preparing his meals, men in suits carrying his bags and driving him places. And many of these things that are done for him, I know from firsthand experience that he is perfectly capable of doing in the time frame he's given himself. So this image of having a hired person to take care of anything he might need is meant to give an essence of authority and power. There's even this one video that Ashton did where he engaged in his entire morning routine to eventually go on a helicopter ride to somewhere. The video ends before he gets anywhere. I'm assuming that this was probably one of those like helicopter tours you can do around a city. Let me look it up. Yeah, so looking for like 2 seconds, I found a helicopter tour in Miami that looks exactly like the helicopter that Ashton Hall was in. But he's clearly framing it like, oh, I gotta take a helicopter tour to go meet with some business partners somewhere on a yacht somewhere, maybe. He also makes very sure to keep his Saratoga bottle in frame and makes gestures like he's telling the pilot where to go. It's ridiculous. And finally, probably the strangest.
I love that. Like you got into a cab in a hurry in a neighborhood that the driver is unfamiliar with. Like you're just like, hey, when you get to the pointy building, hook a left, but you're on a helicopter. That's awesome. Oh, that's so good. That's so stupid.
Just aspect of Ashton's videos are the various women that we don't even see the faces of, but they do everything for Ashton. They cook his meals, they draw him his bath and light his candles. Whenever Ashton has a broken glass bottle, they are there.
I know, I'm not alpha. I don't know what it's like. Fiona.
They're picking it up after him. They even dress him sometimes. So there's this underlying sort of misogynistic tone that's happening here in like a domestic sense. These women exist as a prop for Ashton to support his image of power, luxury, and masculinity. And we know this because the bodyguard characters are given a totally different frame. They stand like bouncers at his door ready to work for him, but they're on the same level, in lockstep as they move down the hallway to drive Ashton to his helicopter tour, while the women are on the floor, picking up after him, cooking his meals, essentially tending to him hand and foot. This fulfills a traditional view of masculinity that gives a lot of these alpha male content creators and a lot of the people that genuinely believe in this content a big fat boner. That's all I've got to say for now. Let's move on to day 3.
My lip fell out, and I don't know how that happened. I'm up way too late. I'm like an hour and 40 minutes late. I probably got my alarm off by 4:20. I'll be honest. I've been sitting in bed for like an hour, knowing full well that I would have to face the music in my video, but I still didn't. And honestly, it felt good to just be able to rock for a second. Maybe that's like a little bit of rebellion in me. Can't control it. It's just a part of my fighting spirit.
Nevertheless, I started the day trying to catch up and invigorate my heart with the power of the grind.
Grinding, having so much fun.
I hit some balcony push-ups and then continued to cope with not going the full 13 minutes.
Like he goes out there and he goes like, and then that's it. And then he's just like hanging out on the balcony. I think that counts.
2 minutes of meditation.
Yeah, I nailed it. I nailed that.
Journaling. Then it was
time to put my face in water. Let it be known, Ashton, I don't want this.
Then I hit my sermons.
Like I said, Jesus is the epitome of everything good.
And headed straight to the gym.
It's 6:57 right now. I'm technically an hour behind again. I'm always an hour behind Ashton. I ended up working out too good. I only got like a half an hour in before I was like, oh. Getting a little dizzy. I should move on to basketball. Seems like a really good idea.
This day of basketball would be different than last time though, as it would be a 1v1 between Hasan and I. After my deeply embarrassing performance on day one, I knew that if I wanted to succeed in an Ashton Hall grind set, I had to defeat him. And lucky for me,
I assume he's gonna manipulate the footage, right? Let's see if he's an honest man or not.
I was showing up to the court early. If I was gonna beat Hasan, I had to train.
Hustle, I gotta make plays, try to keep up with the pace, I shoot the shot, I got range, ends on I'm winning the game.
We finna lock in, we finna lock in, we finna lock in, lock in, we finna lock in, we finna lock in.
At first I thought this was a fun little exercise for you, but now I'm a little worried that you're like legitimately becoming this person.
I don't know what you're talking about, man. I lived for the grind before. I clearly live for the grind right now.
You make 3 YouTube videos a year. You do not live for the grind.
But enough small talk. It was time to shoot for starting possession.
All right, shoot for it.
From the 3?
Sure, wherever you want to shoot from.
Lock in.
This might go differently than I thought it would.
That was crazy.
This was false hope because what preceded was me getting my absolute ass handed to me by Hasan.
Okay.
I was missing basket after basket, only having some lucky moments which I took full advantage to gloat about.
I just drove you into the grave.
So good.
But Hasan's score was quickly growing. Times became so desperate that I had to use the only thing that could distract a leftist commentator like Hasan from the game. Conservative talking points.
I don't like socialism. Yes!
No, you cursed me. What the hell was that?
All right, before we go into this, I just want to tell you that bird that landed on Bernie Sanders' podium.
You watch your mouth right now.
In that one rally, I'm just saying.
Was it fake? Is that what you're gonna say?
Well, hand it to me. It was a crisis actor.
What the f?
My curse was working. Hasan began to miss shot after shot.
Oh my God, what is happening?
The president should become the Pope. Yes.
What?
You know the Department of Education?
Yeah, it's good.
I don't even know what that is.
No!
Unfortunately, this strategy only works if I myself could make a basket, which was not happening. So it ended with Hasan making his final shot, and I had lost once more. Damn it.
I blocked you up once you're coping.
And with that, Hasan, thank you for joining me on this journey. On to cold shower time.
Wow, respect. He's an honest man. He's an honest man. I thought he would have manipulated the footage to make it seem like he just cooked my ass. Damn, he's a tall boy, huh? Yeah. And he is Jimmy Buckets, okay? He actually plays ball. Perhaps a little too hard sometimes, but
I'm now.
Always miserable, never good, always pain.
Banana time. Oh, God, this is so weird. This is so weird.
And I gotta say, I'm getting pretty good at making this breakfast. Probably the only thing I'm getting better at.
It's 11:23 right now. I put this together in like 15 minutes, so that was pretty cool.
Oh, also, obviously I paid for this publicity. As you guys already know, if you're watching the journalist Ethan Klein, who has exposed me time and time again, I of course paid for this collaboration. That Nivison would never be around me.
Cool. I felt like a demon in the kitchen just now. I would say that this is the best version of the eggs I've made too.
Now it's time to do the ice facial. I just gotta go for it.
Is it bad that I feel like I'm getting better at this?
And with that, our routine for day 3 is done. It's 11:34 right now. Here's the split. Time to start the day.
And things got even worse for day 4.
I lose a little bit of my mustache every time I do this. I'm losing energy for this challenge, the skill and the excitement. I don't know if that speaks to my ability to keep with a routine or the feasibility of doing a routine like this. It's like 5:20 right now. I did wake up at 3:50. I've just been sitting and laying in bed and I've just been like, I don't want to do it.
It seemed like each day the mouth tape left more and more residue on my face after taking it off.
I don't want to have to remove adhesive from my face every morning. It's kind of a pain in the ass.
I was struggling a lot this morning. My vibes were not good.
I'm so sick of this.
The push-ups were worse when the sun had risen because now I was worried I was being perceived by my neighbors as a crazy person, but I had very little to give at this point.
I have to journal, so journaling time.
That stomach flu, it needs to go in the name of Jesus Christ.
Oh, this is what he was telling me about. He got really into watching this woman as well. I was wondering, I was like, what the is this about? Yeah, this is.
I'm kind of looking forward to this to wake me up.
You're so ass at basketball, looking like Shrek mixed with Donkey. Got me, dude. You're a dog basketball player, by the way. You're not good, dude. You are doggy sheet. Sorry, man. You got smoked. You're right. I'll still cook you, though, and then make fun of you for getting destroyed by a guy who plays like doggy sheet.
Right now. Why is my ear ringing? I did that and then my ear started ringing.
Rise and grind, ladies and gentlemen. Rise and grind.
If you can't tell, I'm starting to slip a little bit.
That's all we do. We rise and grind every day.
I had never done something like this 4 days in a row.
And let me tell you, it is taking a toll on my body.
I'm going to bed at 10 p.m. at the latest, and I'm still getting.
Then I had some work stuff come up that slowed me down even more. It is 7:45. I'm pretty sure this one is not going to be very, very close. Gotta take the nose thing off. That was more painful than I expected it to be. So I headed to the gym.
All right, we're at the gym now.
And I continued to make mistakes from there.
I worked out too hard again. For some reason, I thought it was a good idea to run like a mile at a 10% incline. That sucked. I don't know how to go to the gym consistently every day. Going to the gym is like a once in a while thing where I go as hard as possible, I get sore, and then I don't go for like a month because I'm traumatized.
This day was truly my lowest point. At every turn, things were weird for me.
I do wonder after all of this is done, that's a naked man walking on the highway. Fully naked man walking on the highway just then.
The shower was as fun as usual.
No!
Time for the banana. And somehow even the banana part got worse.
Got banana in my eyebrow. I hate it when I get banana in my eyebrow.
At least I got to have a meal that could potentially lift my spirits.
Today was a bit of a disappointment, to say the least. No! No!
Did I piss off a witch in a past life or something? Today's second ice bath. Here I go.
Ashton.
And at 12:03, it's time to start work. A whopping almost 3 hours behind Ashton's schedule.
And that's the end of day 4.
I'm not done talking about the Saratoga water either, because Ashton's obsession with it is a little bit ridiculous. With all the product placement and the specific intention to have the Saratoga brand in frame, you'd think that Ashton Hall is sponsored by Saratoga. But he's not. The CEO of Saratoga's parent company, Primo Brands, specifically pointed out that they don't work with Ashton Hall in an interview with Business Insider. But at the very least, I hope that Ashton has stock in Saratoga, because at the peak of his virality in March, the parent company's stock went up by like 16%. Also at this point, because I had only been drinking Saratoga water on and off camera, I had a pretty good idea of how much water Ashton Hall would consume in a month. I have gone through 12 bottles of Saratoga water in 4 days. And since I'm following Ashton's routine directly, and we're supposed to assume that he does this every single day, that would mean that he spends probably more than $300 a month on Saratoga water. That's ridiculous. You're paying for a second water bill every month? Either way, let's move on to day 5. Things had clearly hit a low for me on day 4, but I was determined to change my future, and I had 2 motivating factors to do so. The first was that at 9 a.m. on day 5, I had an appointment with my therapist. This appointment was in person, so I had to finish my entire morning routine in order to make it there on time. And in doing so, complete the routine faster than Ashton does his. Also, I had finally secured an opportunity to do Ashton's most famous move, the time dive. That's right. Finally, I had access to a pool and the motivating need to do this routine as quickly as possible. So I went to bed that night with a fire in my heart, because I was going to change my destiny on day 5. Starting off the morning, my timing was impeccable. Let's do this thing. I knew if I wanted a pure Ashton routine, it would be this morning. The push-ups were miserable as usual, but I had to push through. I could feel a new dawn for me was soon to be unearthed. As I meditated, I imagined perfecting this routine, visualizing myself as various apex predators, like the tiger or the grizzly bear. I then used my journal time to chronicle these revelations.
You'll never believe what they say about Dubai.
The ice facial would be elevated too, as I was now involving lemons into the water. And I opened not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 mini bottles of Saratoga for it. Lemon time. I have no idea if this is going to improve the feeling of the cold water on my face. It definitely smells better. Before it was stinky water. Oh shit, it kind of burns my eyes. Oh shit, water got everywhere too. If anybody asks you guys, I definitely did not pee my pants. Then I thought for sake of accuracy, I would do a little bit of grooming like Ashton does, but I made an unbelievable mistake. Whoops. Yeah, I messed up. I put on the length guard wrong. Well, I don't have a mustache anymore. Surprise. Guess that's how things are going this week.
But we gotta keep going. I suppose now that I don't have a mustache, I won't be like ripping hairs out when I have to put on the mouth tape. No! Otherwise, I've kind of screwed myself. I've been working on that. It's 6:14 right now.
He shaved
Time
it
to
off.
go to the gym. Okay, I ran a mile. That's what I assume Ashton does in his official routine. It's 7:06 right now. All right, let's move, because it's almost 7:36.
Our trip to the pool was upon us to see if Ashton was telling the truth, and it seemed like I'd have the perfect timing. When I got to the pool though, one thing became quite obvious to me. This was not a pool for diving. They made it very clear This was a 4-foot deep pool. If I dove like Ashton did, I would knock myself out on the bottom and drown. But I had no choice. This was my one chance to understand what Ashton was smoking. So I positioned myself for a mini dive. Basically all of the factors necessary in my opinion to count as a dive, but I won't kill myself. The clock struck 7:36. The stars had aligned, and I began my dive. And I thought I would surely be underwater soon. But no. Suddenly I felt a silence around me. And it was then that I realized that everything was moving slowly. Yet at the same time, time was moving fast. I was in it. I was time diving. In my mind I saw visions of glory, of grind, of the horrors that waited for me past 10 p.m., of the sin that lives late at night. And I saw what had to be at least 10,000 possibilities of where my life could take me. But as I soared above the water like an eagle in what felt like specifically 4 minutes, only one seemed to make sense. The Alpha Way. As I emerged from the waters, I felt born anew, ready to take on the rest of this challenge, knowing just maybe Ashton isn't crazy. So I headed home, right on schedule. I cold showered without fear.
You know, not as bad as it has been in the past.
And with very little time before I had to leave for therapy, I built my meal faster than ever before.
If I can finish this in like 7 minutes and do the ice bath, I will have completed Ashton's routine in the same time that he does it.
And I housed it like an animal.
It's funny because Ashton Hall has never done his routine in the actual time frame that he suggests, which is why trying to do it in the same time frame is extra silly.
And with minutes to go, I reached my final step.
Here we go.
Like, it's just impossible.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, starting at 3:50 in the morning.
In a way, he has surpassed Ashton Hall. He has become the true Ashton Hall. Because if Ashton Hall is faking the times, then Ted is the real Ashton Hall now.
Ending at 8:56 a.m., I have completed Ashton Hall's routine in a faster split time than Ashton.
So I went into day 6 with a newfound glorious perspective. It was all about the routine, baby. But seriously, after having done this routine for 5 days, things were kind of getting easier to do. Maybe Ashton wasn't crazy. Yeah, sure, my bedtime is now absurdly earlier than the average person, but I felt like I was getting a lot done. Then I tested out Ashton's next ice facial variation, this time with cucumbers. And I still haven't gained a resistance to the cold, but for the first time in a while, I think I might be going for a second hit. Nope, yeah, second one's always painful. That didn't change. Then I went to the gym.
It's 7:58 right now. I just finished at the gym. Got a good pump in, got a good run in. It has gotten surprisingly easy at this point to keep going to the gym over and over again. I used to dread it, and then I kind of came over a hill or into a pool of knowledge, perhaps. I'm feeling good.
Also, at this point, Tucker and his wife Emma had arrived last night for a weekend of filming our podcast, but they arrived after I had gone to sleep. So when I would return from the gym, I'd be seeing them for the first time.
I'm returning home, and Tucker's waiting for me there, and I bet he's gonna have something to say.
Oh, I'm here.
Why are you wet?
Oh, my allergies is terrible.
The cold showers don't scare me anymore. Honestly, not bad this time. Then all there was to do was do my completely reasonable banana step, cook my breakfast, consume it once more, and then just one final ice facial, and I was done with day 6.
Morning routine number 6 is now complete.
And with one final day left of my morning routine, it seemed appropriate to attempt to recruit another to Ashton's Legion.
It's got cucumbers in there. What's your first thoughts?
I thought those were pickles.
Why would you think that they're pickles?
I'm really nervous. Am I going?
Yeah, go for it.
I feel great.
Give it a second hit.
Okay. Oh, that second one hurts.
Yeah, second one hurts, doesn't it? Yeah. Second one hurts.
Then I explained to Tucker I'd be pouring this bowl out.
Oh, I wish I'd known. I would have blown my nose in there. Can I go back in and blow?
If you want. I've never witnessed a 3-time. Get in there.
3-time ice bucket champion here. I couldn't even blow out of my nose.
Evan and I both witnessed you go like.
Mass Israeli censorship of Iran's retaliatory ballistic missile strikes is preventing NATO nations from understanding what is taken on. What? Why did you just link me this random account? According to Israeli Channel 12, at least 14 Israeli settlers were wounded as a result of the latest Iranian barrage of missiles launched against Israel. Additionally, the Asaf Harofeh hospital in Tel Aviv declared a mass casualty event. That's crazy.
I couldn't do it.
That's
This TEDx Iran missile collab is something I thought I'd never see. You get everything on this broadcast.
It's incredibly cold. I bet that's 33 degrees.
At this point, I don't know what had shifted in me mentally after that pool dive, but kind of like I always get, I was radicalized. I had the spirit of the grind tiger, or the alpha lion in me now, and all I had to do was one more day in Ashton Hall's routine on day 7. And my God, was the grind paying off. Waking up early was a breeze for me now. Thinking of thoughts nobody...
The f is this, bro? We haven't ratioed the IDF. What are we doing here, chat? What are we doing here? Get after it. Ratio the IDF. This broadcast is sponsored by the Piker Broadcasting Service is sponsored by you, the viewers, who ratio the IDF, and also with your subscriptions.
He had thought of before. I truly had manipulated time to my liking. Crack open that bottle of Saratoga. We're doing at least 10,000 a day, 10,000 brushes, 10,000 swishes, 10,000 gargles. You didn't see that. Man, I was looking good. I was looking strong, looking hotter than anyone's looked, probably. And I'm definitely not lonely. My push-ups were perfect now, and I definitely did like 200 of them. My journaling was pristine, Shakespearean even. The sermons inspired me beyond belief. And the ice facial, I was taking it to the next level. We weren't just doing cucumbers or lemons, we were doing both. Lemon and cucumber water. Fight me now. I was obsessed with grind, with routine. One ice facial wasn't enough. I was doubling up with no problem. No pain actually at all. No, zero. I don't even know what pain is. Not only that, I had a disciple to teach. So we're headed to the gym. We're discussing high-level business strategy. And once we arrive, yeah, we're getting a juicy pump in. But the gym doesn't stop on weights. Oh no. We had to hit the courts. We're addicted to growth, baby.
The people call me your source. From a G to a Don. You lot are all talk. I'm just keeping it strong. And setting trends takes precedence. I make a lasting impression when I'm basking in my decadence. From my Genesis to Exodus, I'm turning heads. I'm rocking certain threads. It's cause I'm earning bread, calm and collected. My charm is perfected, and that's why the woman on my arm is respected.
The grind was flowing through my veins. I had perfected every facet of Ashton's routine. I was reaching heights I never thought possible. I hadn't just learned to be Ashton Hall, I had become him.
I was destined to shine, I was born great. I'm truly gifted, I've learned to control my fate. I never stick to the script or the guidelines. It's my life, it's my world, it's my time. It's my life, it's my world, it's my time. It's my life, it's my world, it's my time. It's my life, it's my world, it's my time. It's my life, it's my world, it's my time. We were destined to shine, we were born great. We're truly gifted, we've learned to control our fate. We never stick to the script or the guidelines. It's our life, it's our world, it's our time. It's our life, it's our world, it's our time. It's our life, it's our world, it's our time. It's our life, it's our world, it's our time. It's our life, it's our world, it's our time.
What the hell just happened to me? What the hell just happened to me? Then I remembered I'm not Ashton Hall and I'm making a YouTube video.
Oh, right. Okay.
So I just completed 7 days living as a morning routine influencer.
It's been about 2 weeks since I finished living like a morning routine influencer. I suppose I should start off by answering the question, did I continue doing this routine? Of course I didn't. It's a ridiculous routine. I was starting to get a little brainwashed there, but no, I snapped out of it right at the end. And yeah, maybe the pool dive went something more like this. And yeah, maybe the timing was like fully inaccurate on day 7. There were some pretty clearly defined positives and negatives from this experience, and I'm gonna be genuinely honest about what I thought here. The first very clear positive that I felt during my week was an improvement in my overall mood. This is something that should be expected from doing a challenge like this. I work at my desk for the majority of my job, whether it's writing or editing.
This is literally why I have a morning routine, by the way, which is an infinitely more manageable one and not fake, unlike Ashton Hall's fake morning routine. But yeah, people always ask me, like, how do you keep sane in spite of sitting in front of a live audience of people constantly screaming at you, covering the atrocious nature of the world day in, day out. And the reason why I am able to maintain my sanity is because I go out, I touch grass, I work out. You know?
Editing or filming right now. I also play a lot of video games, and while I like to get out and do things, I generally lean towards a sedentary lifestyle. I'm on my ass a lot. So being able to get up every day and move my body and go to the gym had very clear benefits for me. These are benefits that are very well documented as well. Pretty much everybody knows that if you work out on a consistent basis, you will feel better, but it still blew me away. Part of me was also feeling like I was being more effective and getting more done in my day, but when I thought about it for a little bit more, the only reason I was feeling that way is because the routine itself was me doing my job. Making this video about the routine was me working. Here's a weirder one. I'm kinda not too mad about the mouth tape, and I've genuinely used it a few times after the experiment was over. I actually used it last night. I can't tell if it's placebo or not, but I feel like I'm seeing some of the improved sleep quality claims that the mouth tape advertises. That being said, don't go out and buy mouth tape because of that. Where things stand right now, I don't think I could see myself buying another package of it, especially because the main way I see mouth tape being advertised on platforms like TikTok is creators shilling themselves out by saying that wearing mouth tape will improve your jawline, which it doesn't. Wearing mouth tape is in no way related to one's jawline. And if you're seeing those advertisements and they're showing you before and after evidence, they're lying. They lost weight and that's it. The final advantage I found from the morning routine was just being up in the morning. I said this earlier in the video, but I do genuinely like the idea of being able to wake up earlier in the morning than I do now. Maybe not 3:50 a.m., but if I get enough sleep, 6 a.m. does make me feel better about myself. That's just a personal reason because I find I can't really get anything productive done once I can tell that the sun is setting. My brain starts telling me, well, you're not gonna get anything else done today, so you might as well just boot up Helldivers. Now, onto the negatives. This incredibly strict routine, even done by me for only a week, started to make me feel pretty antisocial. In order for the routine to be feasible so that I wasn't suffering from extreme sleep deprivation, I had to be going to bed by around 8 or 9 p.m. It turned into this situation for a lot of the time that I was awake, nobody in my time zone was. And when those people were awake, I was asleep. It was this growing sense of isolation I started to feel during this routine. And I'm sure that if Tucker and Emma hadn't been visiting towards the end of my week, these feelings would have continued to grow. I started having feelings of not having time for anyone else. Because once I had done my work for the day, I had to start thinking about getting ready for bed. Let's say you do Ashton's routine to a T. From the time that you finished his morning routine to when you need to start his night routine, you've got about 7 to 8 hours. And for most people, that's the work day, sometimes more if you're factoring in commuting, not to mention all of the people that work longer hours. When are you gonna do everything else you'd wanna do in your life? His routine doesn't take weekends off, and I'm sure that Ashton would say that he doesn't either. Something as simple as playing a video game or spending time with friends and family. All of these things become an afterthought. Hot shower, staying up late at night to play the latest video game, sleeping in. I love all of these things. In excess, nothing is good, but being able to do them once in a while is a gift. A gift you are depriving yourself of because of this self-imposed perception of weakness in pleasure. And yeah, sure, while there are certainly aspects of this routine which, if done in continuation, would objectively improve my health or working life, what is the point if I have no life? What is the point of spending all of this time preparing for my day, doing my work, and then preparing for the next, if the fruits of my labor are never seen? I'm under the impression that the meaning of life is somewhere close to finding a truthful happiness for yourself. And that happiness does not exist at the gym at 6 in the morning. It does not exist in that banana you wipe on your face. And it certainly does not exist in the cucumber ice facial. These routines should be investments in yourself, so you can enhance your existence when you're doing the things that you actually want to do. You don't go to the gym so you can continue going to the gym, unless the gym's your favorite thing in the world. You go to the gym to keep yourself in shape so you can experience life longer and do the things that you love longer with the people you love. These behaviors and routines are all a means to an end. But if your life is all about getting ready, when does it start?
Damn. 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 Had to hit it. Had to hit it with a saucy ass note at the end. God damn. Great video by Ted Nivison. Go watch, give it a like. Go watch his other videos as well.